It's
Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The mission of the Freehold Township School District is to honor and support every learner every day on the journey to become curious and engaged members of a diverse global community. A notice listing the time, date, and place of this meeting was posted on the public bulletin board of all Freehold Township schools, on the entrance door to the administrative offices of the Board of Education, on the district website, at the office of the Freehold Township Clerk, published in the Asbury Park Press on January 6, 2023, and sent to the news transcript on January 4th, 2023. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a roll call, Mr. DeVita?
Mrs. Brand. Mrs. Cozzolino.
Here.
Mr. Gargiulo.
Here.
Mrs. O'Sullivan.
Present.
Mrs. Thoman.
Here.
Mrs. Venatoli. Mr. Williams. Mr. Amoroso.
Here.
Mrs. Lambert. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the July 25th regular meeting? A second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstention? And I have to abstain.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Vice President's remarks. Welcome, everyone. We don't have a big crowd, but I hope everyone's having a great summer. It's good to see everybody again that I haven't seen in a while. We've been doing a lot of traveling, a lot of babies being born. I'm a grandpa, so I'm very excited. So I've been to South Carolina twice in 2 weeks. So I don't know. It's going to get expensive. I see that little one. Well, let's go back again. But anyway, it's good to see everyone. And with that, I'm going to move it over to Neil for his report.
Do you want to do your certification first?
Sure.
Bob for your certification.
1 second. All right. I, Robert DeVita, the school business administrator / board secretary, certifies that as of June 30th, 2023, no line item has been overexpended in violation of NJAC 6A 23A-16.10C3, and that sufficient funds are available to meet the district's financial obligations for the remainder of the fiscal year.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Today was our last day of the extended school year program. I would like to thank and express my gratitude to all of our staff who participated in the extended school year program. As the years go on, it has become more difficult to staff in the summer, and I'm appreciative to all of those teachers, teacher assistants, bus drivers, attendants, custodians, everybody who was willing to work with our students this summer. We had our largest enrollment in the extended school year program that we've ever had. And a thank you to our ESY administrator, Sharon Timmons, working closely with Lena Winter and Chris Cleffy to make sure that that program ran smoothly. And today was our last day, and it ran well. So those staff members and those students who participated have a 2-week reprieve before the first day of school. Also, we are still in the process. We added this meeting years ago because we wanted to be able to approve staff for whom we've interviewed and are recommending for the next school year. We are still having a difficult time as our surrounding districts. I've read for years of a teacher shortage in different places and thought how lucky it has not hit us or New Jersey. Well, I think as I shared before, it has hit us in New Jersey. So it has become increasingly difficult to find qualified, and when I say qualified, I literally mean qualified, certificated staff. With the, as New Jersey has added additional certifications, they've almost certified people out of the ability to teach in specialty areas. For example, a special education middle school math teacher requires at least 2 certifications, if not 3. They require teacher of math, which is 712, and teacher of students with disabilities, or elementary K-6, elementary with middle school math subject matter specialization 5-8, and teacher of students with disabilities. The more certificates you add, the more increasingly difficult it becomes. It's also costly. For those out there who might be qualified based on their transcripts, New Jersey has a fee holiday right now. For the year, you can apply for certifications without cost. but you also have to have the qualifications to apply for that certificate. So even elementary positions have become increasingly difficult to fill. So we are experiencing that, and we are doing our best. I would like to thank our building administrators specifically, who have gone through rounds and rounds and rounds of interviews to find qualified candidates. At this point, with the reduction in the number of students graduating from teacher certificate or teacher prep programs, it's a fight among school districts of who can pay more. And that's what we're seeing now. We will have somebody, and then they will go somewhere else for more money. So you see my emails requesting in advance, and I think I've explained to you, but that is the full explanation of what we're experiencing and why you're seeing those requests come in advance of meetings to determine if we can or cannot offer specific individuals contracts.
Movement amongst the administrators to talk to the state about that issue?
We have.
Because
So the only thing that
in time,
the only thing the state has done in reaction to our concerns is that they've removed temporarily or permanently the I think it might be permanent, the Pearson assessment. EdTPA has been removed, and that was even another barrier that was preventing certification. So EdTPA was a portfolio assessment, performance-based assessment that's been removed, and that is what they did to do that. They're also temporarily allowing teachers who have retired to return, but we have no takers on that.
Reduced, that if you have 30 credits, you can become at least a substitute. You don't have to be actively seeking additional credits. So, but we have a Spanish opening, perfect example, and there are no programs left in
Yeah.
New Jersey.
So New Jersey, that's a good point. New Jersey is required. New Jersey is required through the New Jersey Student Learning Standards to have a program of language, and there are no longer any universities in the state of New Jersey that require that have a program to certify that leads to certification in any foreign language in the state of New Jersey to teach.
like that.
I don't think it attracted candidates, so the last school was TCNJ, and it was as of last year.
Yeah, last year.
So I have a question as administrators, and if they didn't have those extra certifications, if they had the basic one, like maybe years ago, does that affect their teaching that much?
It depends. You then what we have to do if we ever went there is to do a more in-depth interview to determine their content qualifications. So particularly in the middle school. So if we were hiring for 8th grade math and the candidate had the old elementary K through 8 certificate, which I hold, we would push further in the interview to assess content knowledge to make sure that candidate had the content knowledge to teach higher level math. So that's
You could do it.
me personally.
No,
I
you
wouldn't
could
put
do-
myself in an 8th grade math.
You could do the extra.
Of course. Of course. So those people are like few and far between at this point. They would be late in their career. Those that have elementary K-8, the old certification, or teacher of the handicapped.
Neil, can I ask
Mhm.
also, so, and pardon my ignorance here. So if you've gone to school and say you get your K to 5 certification, you take the praxis in K to 5, right? Are you able, like if you're like, I'm pretty good at math, can you take the math too, or you need
question.
course specific work in math?
Both. So you
Both.
have to take the praxis. There's a specific middle school praxis for 5-8 content areas. Each one has its own. And on top of that, you have to have 12 credits that are not pedagogy classes, that are content classes at the college level.
So there's potential that we have teachers who've gotten a degree that maybe have taken, what is it, 3 math classes?
You have to have the four math classes, a class on adolescent psychology,
Oh.
and I think there's like
Yeah, and then,
I'm
okay.
remembering a class on adolescent psychology for 5-8, and the praxis itself. So an additional praxis. Elementary K-6 teachers are required to take 3. Actually, all of them, I think, at this point are required to take 3 praxis.
But no, that doesn't stop us, Mary, from reviewing transcripts at the table.
Yeah.
When we're meeting with candidates and saying, hey, it looks like you were a math minor. have you considered, right? So we do a lot of counseling into the more certs you have, the more doors are opened, right?
And with languages, right? If somebody speaks Spanish.
Well,
yeah.
so that's the challenge as well, because you have to pass the oral proficiency assessment, which is challenging. It's rigorous. So you have to be I forget the level, because there's one for teacher of the language and there's one for bilingual, and I can't remember which is which requirement is which, but you have to be.
But you could go back to take the assessment if we needed that.
Yeah, you have to take it. It's actually an oral assessment over the. Yeah, I've seen people take it. It's challenging. That has precluded people from getting their certification before, not being able to pass that oral proficiency assessment.
And there's no like alternate route.
There's alternate route preparation, but not if you're not going to not going to take. So all alternate route does is we can hire you now provisionally until you take your 12 credits. Like that doesn't. That's what it does. So when we hire teachers for like teachers and students with disabilities as alternate route or provision or alternate route, or they are, all we're doing is hiring them as their, and we have to see proof that each year they're making progress towards their coursework.
So if you hire somebody alternate route, say in middle school math, because they have math, like they graduated, say, with a math degree,
But no education.
no education, then they have to go back and take the education classes while they're.
Alternate route. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a little bit different. It depends on the program and what they have. And that would be like a 712 certificate, like teacher of math 712. Anything else? Okay. We have one student with us this evening for recognition. Wasn't able to be here last time. And this is for the Barklow Middle School Geography Meet, second place. And our second place winner was Violet Ray.
Thank you. Congratulations.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Lambert would have been better looking in the picture. Yeah, that's my picture. We're good?
Yes.
All right, excellent. This is going to be the first opportunity for public participation. This will be on agenda items only. If anyone wishes to address the board, please write your name, address on the sign-in sheet. State the name for the record. Statements are limited to 3 minutes and should not be abusive, obscene, or defamatory in nature. Do we have anybody for public participation? That's okay. Leaving is public participation. All right, seeing none, we'll go into the personnel. Mrs. O'Sullivan.
Okay, we did not meet as a committee this week, so I would like to go right to number 3 for retirements. As stated, I move number 4, resignations, as stated. I'd like to move number 5, new employment, as stated. Number 6, leave of absence, as stated. Number 7, change of assignment and salary adjustment for 2023-24, as stated. Number 8, change of assignment 2023-24, as stated. Number 9, district mentor, as stated. Number 10, student teacher practicum observation placements, as stated. Number 11, additional compensation, transfer of assignment and room, as stated. Number 12, curriculum committee, as stated. Number 13, ESY staff, as stated. Number 14, termination substitute employment, as stated. 15, certified substitutes, as stated. 16, non-certified substitutes, as stated. And that is all.
Do we have any of our new employees here? Nobody? If anybody's in TV land, welcome to the district. Do we have any comments? Board comments? Roll call?
We need a second.
Oh, a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call?
Mrs. Brand,
Yes.
Mrs. Coslino, Mr. Gargiulo,
Yeah.
Mrs. O'Sullivan,
Yes.
Mrs. Thoman,
Yes.
Mrs. Vanatoli,
Yes.
Mr. Amoroso.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Curriculum policy, Mrs. Cozzolino.
I would like to move the following. We did not meet tonight. Number 3, course reimbursement as listed. And number 4, the first reading of policy and regulations as listed. There's quite a few of them. Number 5, the abolishment of policies and regulations as listed. And that is it.
Any questions, discussion? Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, excellent. Finance, facilities, transportation, Mrs. Ventatoli.
Thank you. The Finance, Facilities, and Transportation Committee did not meet this evening. I'd like to move item number 2, the Secretary and Treasurer's report as listed. Item number 3, bills and claims. I'd like to thank Mr. Amoroso for doing that.
Mr. Gargiulo.
Oh, Mr. Gargiulo, you,
My bad.
thank you.
Have
Mr.
to come
Gargiulo.
later.
I have to update my calendar now, guys, sorry. In the amount of total bills in the amount of $2,918,054.62. Payroll in the amount of $689,886.31 for a grand total of $3,607,940.93. I'd like to move item number 4, travel and related expenses as listed. Item number 5, New Jersey School Boards Association attendance as listed. Number 6, lease purchase financing as listed. Number 7, transfers as listed. Number 8, commission for the blind contract as listed. Number 9, the out-of-district contract as listed. Number 10, the contract with Core BTS is listed. Number 11, the renewal of the RFP for the best practice data research and professional development services 22-05 as listed. Number 12, disposals as listed. Number 13, disposal of surplus property gov deals as listed. And that's all.
Okay. Any questions, discussion? Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion carries.
Okay. Very good. I have no old business unless anybody has any old business. Anybody? And I have nothing on new business.
I have a question for the board. Do you want Sodexo to start coffee and cookie service again?
I vote yes.
No. I mean, but no,
If you're paying for it, because I didn't budget for it. and I
doesn't
used it.
matter. So, no, because we didn't bring it. People have made comments a couple times, but last year I guess it was kind of the first year back kind of a thing. So it's up to you. You guys say yes or no, and I could have them start in September.
Yeah, we need coffee.
I think, yeah, especially when it gets colder.
We
And
need coffee.
you want to do a little straw poll? How many would like coffee back? Yeah, we used to serve coffee and some cookies.
And they just
and-
bring cookies and stuff.
Anybody else
I
want?
like going back to the old way. I'll do it. I say yes. I don't even drink coffee, but I say yes.
Go for the coffee.
Okay, I've got 3 yeses. I'm 4. Mary?
I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Eleanor?
She just doesn't want to say yes.
That's
if
5.
I said something. That's why.
We got 5, Bob.
Okay, it's fine. I'll let them know.
Did you bring the espresso machine?
Oh my God, my wife brought an espresso pot to Aruba, and then
Megan,
she
question.
burnt it or whatever,
Yeah.
and left it there.
Did
So,
we get any applications for the class 3
oh, they weren't paying attention.
We're currently onboarding a class 3 officer, so we're fingers crossed that we'll be all set in October to have our 5th.
But we had one.
We had one, and similar to the staffing issue that Neil shared, went somewhere else. So then we're fortunate that there's a retiree who's interested.
So maybe we should be sending the cookies to his house.
We might want to send the
Do they like
cookies.
crumble? Because I'll pick it up and deliver.
I'm sure I can take orders. I don't think the Freehold Township Police will turn away food. So by October, I believe he'll be in training at all of our schools. So we'll have our fifth.
Excellent. Any other new business? Questions? Okay. Vice President's remarks, nothing other than thank you to all the staff that stays over the summer and all your preparation work. It's getting exciting. It's now getting close. Actually, I saw a bunch of cars in the parking lot today. And I was like, gee, it looks like school's in session today.
That is weird.
Yeah. It was exciting. I got worried. I'm like, gee, should my kids be in school? Anyway, thank you for all of that. And the next time we meet, it's going to be very close. Are we going to be doing building tours?
If you want to, that's fine. Just got to pick a date. Yeah. So
Maybe last week of August.
Yeah, first week of the
that's fine.
Yeah. If anybody's interested, and we usually run a few tours of the buildings. If any board members are interested, we usually just walk a few buildings, see how the prep is going. Bob usually sets that up, and we can all sign up and volunteer. I could volunteer to drive, or we have one or two cars usually.
Yeah, let me just
So-
look at what everyone's schedule is.
Yeah, we can email something around.
And do you have a date for your opening?
September 1st at 8:30
I'm expecting a repeat
at Barcelo.
Oh, I have her back.
All right, this is going to be the second public participation. If anyone wishes to address the board, please write your name and address on the sign-in sheet. State your name for the record. Statements are limited to 3 minutes and should not be abusive, obscene, or defamatory in nature. Do we have anybody for public participation?
I have a statement, question, two questions. Nationwide, there's been a tremendous amount of discussion and controversy regarding the content and availability of books in our students' libraries. There are books that are objectionable, and I have an example of two particular authors that I'd like to know if these books are in our libraries. Lauren Michael Miracles has written several books. The particular book I'm mentioning is L8R, G8R, and it's part of a 3-part TTL series. It's geared more toward the middle school students, but it can go down as far as 8-year-olds. And the second is The Breakaways, which is a book by Kathy G. Johnson. Is there any way to find out if these books are in and available to our students?
We don't have access at this meeting to get that information. You can email Mrs. Montgomery.
I have the titles.
She'll respond in email.
Okay, thank you. That's very good. Certainly. And then I have a question for the board. Is this school board willing to remove any of these challenged books if in fact they are found in our libraries?
The purpose of public participation isn't for polls, it's to address the board and the board listen.
But that's
and-
my question for you to contemplate. Are you going to be willing to remove any of these books? It's something for you to discuss among yourselves at some point in time, because you have that ability to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
The pen is out of ink.
Hi, my name is Carmela Spieler. I live in Freehold. So, a couple of questions here I have. I'd like to know where the board stands on policy 5756. There's much debate about it. Obviously, you must know that schools just were being sued, and they went to court today, and the judge is going to pass judgment on that. But I'd like to know if this district is going to side with, and not siding with any, maybe that's a bad word, but are they going to support parents who were entrusted by God with their children? Is this district and is the members of it, are you going to allow parents to have the God-given right that they were given to basically govern their own children and not a township school or a state? And so that's one of my questions. And then I was wondering if Miss Cozzolino was able to read the book Lawn Boy, since we were just mentioning books. I know you said you were going to read it and make your own judgment on it. Did you, in fact, get to buy the book and read it?
That's if I
It's up to her if she wants to.
well, I thought I just want to clarify. If I remember correctly, the statement that you had made at that meeting was in reference. It was an author in a book, and there are two different books, and the book in
Yes.
yes. So that book, Lawn Boy, whether Mrs. Cozzolino read it or not, she can choose to answer, is not a book that we had in our library, or
Okay.
it's not even appropriate for pre-K to 8. So I just want to clarify from that meeting that that book, it was a combination of Lawn Boy
Yes, you
by
did,
Gary
you did.
Paulson that's present at book fairs, and there's a
And
separate
I only bring
book.
up the books only because,
Right. But I'm just saying
yeah.
it's not, it's a separate book. And
That's what I was gonna say.
okay, I'm sorry.
Upon further research, that is
Yeah.
what
And maybe,
So does the
maybe after
board-
the meeting, you could talk to Mary about the book,
Sure.
but it has nothing to do with our district.
Okay, okay, good. I'm only brought it up because Miss Denise had brought it up, and it's, so how does the plan for the board, where do they stand with policy 5756?
We don't have a response to that yet. We're gonna wait for the judge to make a
Okay, so
ruling,
right
and then
now-
we will ponder
Right
that.
now, is the district in fact following the policy the way it's written, where parents are not notified? How is the district, how does it read
We
here
follow
right now?
We follow our policies.
Which says you would not notify parents, or you would notify parents?
Right now, the policy reads that we do not notify parents.
do not
However, our
notify.
practice is that our counselors or whoever the child is speaking to works with the child to disclose to the parents together. So while our policy is we do not, our goal is to work with the children to tell their parents. And when I did an informal poll of the number of kids over the years, in the past few years, that's applied to, it was under 5 in the K-5. So I understand that it's national news and there's opinions regarding whether we should or shouldn't, which I don't discount anybody's opinion, but I just want to share in practice here, 0 to 5 was the number of kids that we haven't been. In fact, it's probably lower, like 0 to 2 at the elementary level, that we were not able to successfully work with the child to tell their parents.
Okay, but any number above 1 or 1 and above, I think the parents have the right, and I think this district would be failing our children and our families if not notifying them. You notify them for everything. They get into a fight, something happens, they scrape their knee.
That's your 3 minutes, but thank you for your opinion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alice Marie. I am from Colts Neck, New Jersey, and I have been interested in the policy 5756 and here to support some people in Freehold since I am local in the area. I did get a chance to sit in on the court case today, which was pretty amazing that I got a chance to see that. Really, what the court case on 5756 for Middletown, Manalapan, and Marlborough was about the time frame and will the judge allow the present policy that the boards have put in place to stand, or that will they wait until it goes to the actual discrimination case at another time, because that has to go through the courts and it takes time to set up the date and all that.
So, as you know, with 5756, the policy is not mandatory, and the school boards are allowed to make up the policy to say if they want to implement certain parts of it and not. So then the state threw it into kind of a discrimination case, and I just want to stand here and say that, we love the trans kids. We love them, but we feel that people need protection, children need protection, and it's a parent's rights that at the age of, they even discussed in court a 5-year-old deciding what gender they are. And, for me personally, I was a tomboy until I was a teenager, maybe 13 or so. And I even dressed like a boy. I played, with boys. I climbed trees, rode bikes, caught frogs and fish and everything. But there wasn't the narrative that they have today in the school system. The reason why that's important and the important that we support our kids is because at that age, you cannot get a tattoo, you cannot drive a car, you cannot drink, you cannot, smoke or any of these things, and it's because children are kids. They can't make a decision as an adult can make a decision, and that's why we're in charge of them. The problem is that the narrative is leading to children. I think it's 45% of the girls eventually go into transitioning, and it's a smaller percent of the boys, 28% or so, that have the affirmation surgery. And I took these from websites that were very reputable, like the CDC and other things like that. But it's been proven through 11 studies, including the Toronto 2021 study, that by the age of 18, any gender dysphoria children return 87.7% to their natural birth gender. So we're allowing children to make changes where these puberty blockers are causing sterilization. They're the same ones that they give to pedophiles, and they're not reversible. They tell these kids this. And the other side is saying there's higher incidence of suicide. Well, I've seen the films. I've watched testimonies of people detransitioning, and the suicide is coming through the process and after the transitioning. They're still considered transgender. Okay, their frontal lobe is not developed at age 13, and they are making decisions, and the puberty blockers are stopping their bone development, their emotional development, and all
We're
these
at
other
3
things.
minutes now. We
Okay, I
appreciate
just
your comments
encourage
and
you
your
to
opinion.
vote for parental rights.
Thank you very much
Just
for your
help the
opinion.
kids and protect the kids. Thank you.
Another question,
Everyone else done?
Hmm?
Does anyone else want to speak first?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's anybody else here, but
Okay.
I'll yield to them. I just had a question here on this policy. It says the superintendent recommends approval to abolish the following policies and regulation. Marshall Erickson, Title I, School Parent and Family Engagement. What is that?
Erickson Title I is a federal program, and schools are eligible by percent of low socioeconomics families enrolled in the school. And Erickson went out of eligibility, so we abolished the policy because it's no longer a Title I
Okay.
school.
Okay, I didn't. Thank you.
No problem.
thank you. Do we have any other takers? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Have a great night, everyone. See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.